everyone, and welcome to the King's Futures Animal Training Facebook page. I'm Laura King. This is my dog Cora here in the back, and we're here to help you train your dogs and cats to be therapy animals and adventure pets. This month is the month of calm. We've been talking about some concepts that are important to think about before we dig into actually teaching calm. But today's the day we're going to actually teach our pets to be calm today. If you are watching live, please stop by in the comments, say hello, ask me your questions about relaxation, about calm, about why this even matters, all that jazz. Or you can always watch the previous 2 Training Tip Tuesdays from this month. We talked about threshold. We talked about why calm is important. And today we're going to talk about the calm down. This is a training technique that I largely learned from Training Between the Ears. I'm going to show the link to their Facebook page right now. TBTE, or Training Between the Ears, is a program that works on relaxation among many other things, and you can give them a follow right here on Facebook, where they talk about the behavioral down. I've taken that and tweaked a little bit for you and the rest of my clients to call it the calm down. But if you want to learn more about relaxation, Mark and Stephanie McCabe at TBTE are great people to learn from. So today we're going to talk about the calm down, which is a tool that can help your pet to relax quickly and to relax in situations you've never seen them relax in before. This skill is so important. It is the very first thing I teach all of my clients. In fact, I try to get them started on it before we even start our consultation, because if your pet is able to quickly relax and stay relaxed around distractions, it makes training them a whole lot easier. You're going to get way more bang for your buck at our consultation, at our in-person training, through our online training, if you've already been working on relaxation drills with your pet, because they have to be able to be calm and focused enough to actually benefit from the rest of the training that we do with them. There's no cues for a calm down. Your pet will certainly lay down during this exercise. The down is not what our goal is during a calm down. What we're looking for is a calm state of mind. And since we can't read our pet's mind, we have to look for the next best thing, which is their body language that tells you your pet is fully calm and really in a learning state of mind. Think about your own self. If you're really distracted during the day, maybe you're worried about something, maybe you have morning sickness and you're thinking about trying not to throw up, maybe there's all these things going on in your head. And then you're also supposed to be learning a new concept at work, getting trained on a new technique at work, or maybe you're in the school and you're supposed to be, studying for a test. It gets a lot harder when we're distracted. So helping our pets to be calm helps them to be more successful at training. So for the calm down, we're working on helping our pets to learn to calm themselves down instead of us having to do it for them through physically exhausting them with exercise or something like that. We want them to learn to appropriately handle the stress in our everyday lives, because there is stress every day that our pets deal with, that we deal with, right? Stress in this world is unavoidable. But through our calm down sessions, our pets are going to learn to appropriately handle their stress and frustration instead of acting out, making all those poor behavioral choices that made you come find me and look for training help. Instead of doing naughty things, they're going to be calm. Instead of feeling stressed and uncomfortable, they're going to be calm, confident, and happy. And your life and their life gets a whole lot easier. So first, we're going to cover where, when, and what we need for your first calm down, and then we'll dig into how that happens. First, I want you to think about where you should do your first calm down. You're going to want to choose a room that your pet is comfortable in, preferably a room that they've spent a lot of time in. So when I first do a relaxation drill with a pet, I try to do it at their own home, instead of on one of our field trips. That's going to be way harder than a home that they're already comfortable in. As you can see behind me, Cora's pretty darn comfortable in here, right? This would be a good room to start out in, because there is not a lot going on, and it's a room that she's clearly cozy and comfortable in. You also want to make sure you find a room that you can stand in the middle of so that you and your leashed pet cannot reach any walls, furniture, or other objects around you. Basically, that means you need about 6 feet around you, maybe like 3 feet, because you're going to be standing on the leash, so there won't be your full 6-foot leash range. About 3 feet between you and any furniture. If you have a Great Dane or some other giant breeds, this might be a little harder. You might need to rearrange furniture a little bit when you go to do your first calm down. If you have a small dog, it's going to be a lot easier because you have less room to worry about. So you're going to choose a room that your pet is comfortable in and choose a room that you can stand in the middle of with your pet. They're not going to be able to reach the couch, the bed, whatever it is in that room that you're in. Okay. Now let's talk about when you should do the calm down. You should do your first calm down at the calmest time of day in your home for your pet. So think about when your home is really active. Maybe that's in the morning, right when you get up. Billy and I are both running around, getting ready for work, all that jazz. It's not a super calm time of day in the morning at our house. If you have kids, you're probably getting ready for school or daycare or whatever it may be, eating breakfast, feeding everybody else breakfast. It might not be a very calm time. Or maybe you get up super duper early before the rest of your family and your pets even, and you do have a calm time of day at the beginning of the day. It's up to you. Every household, every lifestyle is different. So you want to think about the calmest time of day in your home. So not when you're getting ready for work, probably not when the kids are getting home from school or you're getting home from work. Think about how exciting it is at home, especially exciting for your pets when you come home from work. That's not the time you want to choose. You want to choose the time when your pet is generally more calm. Like right now, Cora's napping back there. This is a time when she generally naps. I get home from work, we get excited, we do some exercise in the yard, we come back inside, and the dogs look like this while I do my computer work. So this would be a great time of day for us to do the calm down. And we want to make sure that they're not completely exhausted either. If you have a little tiny puppy and you've just taken them on their longest walk yet and they're just going to pass out, that's not an ideal time. We want them to be calm, have probably some structured exercise under their belt because that might make it a little easier for you, but not so exhausted from a lengthy exercise session that your pet can barely lift their head, right? We don't want that much exhaustion. Think about it like a toddler. I compare pets to toddlers a lot because there are similarities. There's differences too, don't worry. But think about a toddler or a baby that missed their nap and is just super duper crabby. They're crabby and then they don't want to go to sleep again because they're so crabby, they're so frustrated, and it's a vicious cycle. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we are setting our pets up for success. So we're getting them regular structured exercise, but we're not going to do this drill when they're super exhausted and tired and crabby because that's not fair to them. All right, let's talk about what you need for your first calm down. You're going to need a flat collar and martingale. Let's grab Cora so you can take a look at what she's wearing. Come on, Barbie. Come on, girl. All right, we'll get her up here so you can hopefully take a peek at it. Oof. Here we go, on the chair. She has her e-collar on. We're going to take that off because we don't need that right now. We were hanging out in the yard earlier. We didn't need it then. And she's got her flat, everyday buckle collar that her name is on, her contact info, or my contact info. This is a great collar to do your first calm down with. If your flat collar is so big that your pet can actually slide out of it, let's see if Cora's is too big here. Nope, she can't slide out of it. But if it is too big, you might want to use a martingale collar. Okay, Cora. Good, go back here, please. So you want a nice flat collar, one that your pet can't slide out of. If you're doing a calm down with a cat, you're going to want to use a harness so they can't slide out of. Preferably one that you've already introduced to them. Although this is a great way to start getting your cat more comfortable in their harness and with leash training if you are doing the calm down with them. So then you're also going to need a leash. I like to use one of my least favorite leashes. This is a black nylon leash that I've had for ages. I can't seem to get rid of it. And I don't mind if it gets chewed on because especially if this is your very first calm down, chewing on the leash may happen. So I don't want to use one of my favorite leashes, my nice leather leashes that I don't want to get chewed up because if I do that, it might happen, and then I might be all crabby about it. So choose a leash you don't care too much about. If you're doing the calm down where we talked about inside in a calm room, you might even be able to get away with a super cheapo dollar store leash. We're not using that to walk them outside. I don't trust them that much, but using a leash that is just not super duper important to you is probably a good choice for your first few calm downs until your pet starts to get the hang of things. You also might have a pet that just is an avid leash chewer, that you struggle with leash chewing all the time. Then you might want to look at a metal leash, like a chain leash that they won't be able to chew through. But I usually start out with a heavy duty nylon one like this. Again, it's not my favorite leash. I'm not emotionally attached to this leash, so if something happens to it, I'm going to be okay. If it's my favorite leash that I've had for decades and decades, I'm not going to use that leash for this drill. So again, that's all you really need for your pet. A flat collar, a martingale for a dog, a harness that your cat can't slide out of for a cat, and a leash. For yourself, you're probably going to want to grab a book or queue up your favorite show to binge watch, because you are going to be hanging out for a while, my friend. And you're going to want to make sure that you have something to do so you don't get bored out of your mind. You might grab your cell phone. That's an easy one to play around with, but something to do for a while. You also might want some comfy shoes, because you're going to be standing for a while. Whenever you're training your pet, especially when you're starting out with training or with a new concept, I strongly recommend closed-toed shoes, at bare minimum, shoes with a strap that goes around the back of your heel. So not slides. I love my Birks, but I have Birks with the back strap to wear for training. It's important that we have a nice sturdy shoe that we can't easily slip out of. And for this drill, we're going to be standing on the leash. So barefoot is not as comfy as it could be. We want to make sure that we have a nice sturdy shoe. I recommend tennis shoes or hiking boots if it's your very first time doing this drill, something that you can comfortably stand in for a while. If you are unable to stand for lengthy periods of times for over an hour, you're going to want to grab a bar stool, not one that swivels, but a high stool that when you sit down, you're up out of reach of your pet, or further out of reach than you are in a normal chair like the one I'm in, or on your couch, so that you're elevated above your pet, much like you would be if you were standing. Ideally, you're going to be able to stand on the leash, but I understand not everybody can physically do so we want to make sure we have accommodations for that. Okay, it's finally time to talk about what the heck we're talking about, how to do your first calm down. So I'm just going to talk through it while I'm doing it with Cora so you can see it and hear it all at once. Okay, we are going to grab Cora and clip her up to the leash. Remember that you're looking to position yourself in the middle of the room where your pet is unable to reach any furniture or even beds. Okay, Cora, come here, baby. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to clip her up to the leash. We've done that. We're going to stand in the middle of the room, get her right next to us. And if you really wanted to, you could use a treat here to rearrange your pet, but we're not going to use treats for the rest of the drill. Then we're going to stand on the leash. Can you tell that I've done this drill with Cora? Look what happens the second I stand on the leash. She lays down because she knows the drill. Anyway, when you stand on that leash, you're going to want to give your pet just enough room to stand up or lay down. Now again, Cora's a smaller dog, so that's a lot easier for me. I have more room here on the other side of the leash. If you have a nice, tall, giant breed dog, you might need like a 10-foot leash as opposed to a 6-foot leash, so you can comfortably hold one end of the leash and give your pet just enough room to stand up or lay down. As soon as you're in this position, you're going to grab your phone or some other timer and start your timer. Maybe you have a stopwatch app on your phone, whatever you prefer to use, and we're going to time it. Let's see if I can do that. All right. So I'm just running my stopwatch here, timing what's going on. And then you're going to queue up that bingeable TV show or open up your book or play around on your phone, and you're simply going to ignore your pet. That's not easy. We got our pets because we love them, we want to enjoy them, we want to spend time with them, and probably more of us than care to admit, talk to our pets throughout the day, touch them pretty constantly throughout the day. So ignoring them and not interacting with them at all can kind of be hard. We have to do a little bit of self-training here. So we don't want to look at them really or engage with them too much. We want to just leave them to sort out how to get calm. And we're just going to wait for them to be calm on their own. The only time you're going to intervene here is if they're going to hurt themselves, you, or your belongings. Remember how I told you to choose a leash that you don't care a ton about? They may chew on the leash here. We want to let them sort through that frustration on their own. Again, learning how to deal with stress is a healthy skill for your pet. They have to figure this out to be able to exist in the world, because there's stress that we run into every day, both us and our pets. But if they're hurting themselves in the leash, obviously you want to intervene there. Disentangle yourself from the leash and steer up gently. It's going to look like this on the leash until they stop doing that destructive behavior, and then you're going to get right back on the leash again and go right back into your relaxation drill. If it's just during the leash, again, I recommend letting it go for a little while unless they're at risk of completely chewing through the leash or hurting themselves. If they're trying to climb on you, paw at you, first of all, you might need to shorten up your leash. If they're hopping up on you, they have too much leash. They shouldn't have enough leash to do that. If they're trying to reach other furniture, you may need to reposition yourself or the furniture a little bit. It's your first drill. It might not go perfectly. That's okay. We're figuring all of this out together. And again, we're just going to stand here and wait until your pet is totally calm. Remember, we can't see into their brain, so we have to look at their body to see what it's telling us about being calm. Until I corrected Cora for doing nothing wrong, she's a very good sport and dealt with that upward pressure in the leash, no problem. She was looking pretty calm already, right? And she still isn't looking overly excited in this moment. She's just hanging out there on the ground. But when we're looking for a calm pet, we're looking for them to be totally calm from the tip of their nose to the tip of their tail. So when I look at Cora right now, I can see that her tail is calm. It's relaxed, and that's a big deal for Cora because for her, we usually see it wagging. Anytime I look her way, it'll start to wag. For a fearful or nervous dog, you might see that tail tucked or clamped between their legs. That's not a relaxed tail. This one is nice and relaxed. Cora's got a kind of goofy body. She's a little twisty, lays a little funny sometimes. But we'll often see their back hip kick out to one side or the other when your dog or cat settles into a down. If they're in a down ready to go, they're going to be laying kind of like a sphinx poised and ready to go. If they're settled in, their hips going to be kicked out to the side, or they might even totally flop over onto their side. Then we want to look at their head. Notice what happens when I look at Cora. What happens? She engages with me. So I'm trying not to look at her as much as possible, especially if you're actually doing a calm down drill. Don't look at your pet. Give them time. A nice setup you can have is actually what I have going right now in my live stream. I can kind of see the video of us on the screen. It's too small for me to make out details, but I can tell that Cora's head isn't down. So there's no reason for me to look at her or even check in with her, because if her head's not down, she's not totally calm. So that's my first indicator that Cora's starting to get more relaxed, is when her head goes down. Her chin's on the ground or on her feet. Then I want to look at the rest of her head. Are her ears moving, pricking up? My other two dogs have pointy ears. Obviously, cats do too. So their ears are moving around listening to sounds, or are they still and relaxed? Or Cora's floppy ears flopped over. Now I can see that her head is down, so we're making progress towards relaxation. When I look at her eyes, are they staring at me or staring at something else? Or are they those soft, blinky, almost asleep eyes? We're looking for soft and blinky when we're looking for total relaxation. I even want to look at her nose. Cora is part beagle, and she uses her nose a whole lot throughout the day. So if her nose is moving, if she's sniffing the air, if she's trying to sniff the ground, that's not a calm nose. A calm and relaxed nose is just being used for breathing. Her mouth should be closed. I don't want to see her panting. And this is a good time to pause and say what I should have said before we started. Part of the when to do a calm down would be after a potty break. You want to make sure that they're on E. They've had a chance to pee and poo and get all that out of their system. If you're working on calm downs with a cat, you might wait until they go to the litter box and then do your calm down to make sure that you're not, trying to make them be relaxed when they really got to go. So sometimes if we're panting, that might be a sign we have to go potty. It might be a sign that we're stressed. It might be a sign that we're overheated. We want to make sure we're avoiding all of those things. There shouldn't be stress. There shouldn't be overheating. We should be doing this in a calm, temperature-controlled room. And we want to make sure that there's no external distractions and triggers for your very first calm down. So once her head's down, her head is nice and calm, we can look from nose to tail and see that we've got some pretty relaxed body language here. She's telling us she's calm. So what I'm going to do then is pause my timer. That took us 6 minutes, maybe a little less because I'm talking to you and I wasn't paying attention to Cora perfectly. She's pretty calm. But I said that, and then the fan kicked on my computer, and she broke from her calm. Her ears started to move because my computer was overheating, the fan kicked on, and her ears and her eyes started to move. Cora's got epic eyebrows, so it's really easy for me to see, even though I can't see her eyes, that her eyes are moving because her eyebrows are moving all over. Again, you'll get used to that, and maybe keep an eye on your pet throughout the day to see if you can tell from above if their eyes are moving or not. So we set our timer and we timed that out. It took Cora 6 minutes. And the reason we're going to time that is so we can keep track of how long it takes Cora to be totally relaxed every day. Our goal is for that time to get less and less and less over time. It might not happen in the first week, but by week 2, I can almost guarantee you'll see a shorter and shorter first cycle of calm. And then you're going to wait for your pet to break from that calm, which we already saw Cora do. Her eyes and ears moved a little bit. That's breaking from calm. She's not totally calm, not totally relaxed. And then we're going to wait at least 5 seconds once she reaches calm again. So again, we're going to time the first round of calm, and then we're going to wait for her to break. You could start your timer again once they break to see how long it takes them to reach the second calm, that state of calm. And once they've reached calm the second time, you're going to wait about 5 seconds. We're looking pretty calm here. Oh, our head popped up, so maybe we're not calm yet. You're going to wait 5 seconds for them to stay in that calm, and then you're simply going to set the leash down and walk away. Now, Cora wasn't totally calm here, but for demonstration purposes, we're not going to wait it all out. I've already ignored her calm a little bit today. So that would be all that you do. You drop the leash and you walk away and you go about your day. They're not in a command, so we don't have to release them with an okay. We don't have to say let's go or anything like that because there's no command here. Cora's free to do what she wants. She's pretty calm though, right? We can see that she's just chilling in the back there. Good. That's what we want. So that's what a calm down looks like. Again, we're waiting for that first calm and setting our timer for that long. So we're keeping track of that first calm. But we also want to wait for the second calm. So once they break, whether it's just their eyes or ears moving, or they stand up or bark because they hear something outside, whatever it might be, then we wait for them to reach calm a second time, count to 5 or 5 seconds, and then we're going to set that leash down and walk away. The reason that we add in that second calm, again, this is something that I learned from TBT, Training Between the Ears. You can follow them on Facebook, is that some dogs, some cats figure it out really fast. They're like, oh, you want me to be calm? And they pretend to be calm. My dog Zuko is a prime example of this. We've worked on relaxation a lot with him. He's a Jack Russell. It's not a skill that comes naturally to him. And he started to figure out if he's flopped on his side, that I usually like that. I mark it, reward it, and all this sort of stuff. So he'll flop on his side, but his eyes are wide open. His head's hovering off the ground. He's staring at me. He's like, oh, you like calm? This is calm, right? And it's not calm, right? So sometimes our pets might psych us out, or we're new to reading our pet's body language. We think they're calm, but they're not really calm. Maybe we misread their eyes or their ears or something like that. Waiting for that second round of calm really ensures that they're truly calm, that they didn't just pull one over on us, and that they're actually reaching calm. They're actually learning to deal with their frustration and stress and calm themselves down. Even if they want to get up and do something else, they've calmed themselves down. So it's really important to wait for that second calm to make sure that the calm kicks in for real. It's not just a pretend calm, because they know that's what gets them treats and rewards throughout the day. If you've been working on capturing and marking calm, you might see that a little bit. So waiting for that second calm is great. And again, we're timing the first round, how long it takes them to get to calm the first time, because that's going to be our indicator for when our pet is ready for something more difficult. If your pet is reaching calm within 5 minutes, every single time you do the calm down, it's time to up the difficulty by changing just one thing. Probably the biggest thing that people mess up is rushing the calm down. Their pet's doing well and they try to jump from calmest summer day to doing an outside calm down, or doing one when all the other pets and kids and people are home. That's too much change. We want to just change one thing, maybe simply moving to a different room. Just change the time of day, not moving to a different room, but stay in the same room, do it at a different time of day, before exercise instead of after, before mealtime instead of after, those sort of things. Change one thing at a time. Once your pet is reaching calm within 5 minutes, 3 calm downs in a row, we change one more thing and one more thing. It may take you a very, very, very long time to get to doing a calm down outside. You may never do a calm down outside. That's okay. Our goal with the calm down is to help our pet learn to calm themselves down. And the more that we do it, the more we'll see calming behavior, relaxation in a variety of situations. Even if you haven't practiced a calm down when you're outside, you'll see your pet start to do a better job of relaxing. Even if they're not reaching total calm outside, you might see them choose to lay down or sit down at your side a lot faster. You're certainly going to see them start to choose calm behaviors throughout the day more and more often. This is physically healthy for your pet, for them to be able to calm themselves down and to stay calm more often. Just like with people, nonstop stress and anxiety is not so good for our heart and the whole rest of our body. The same thing is true for our pets. Helping our pets learn to be calm is one of the best things that we can teach them. It's one of the foundational skills that's going to help all the rest of their training to improve if they can simply be calm. So I hope that you had some fun learning about the calm down today. If you have questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. And don't forget that you can always stop by the King's Creatures Animal Training Facebook page at 5 p.m. Central every single Tuesday for Training Tip Tuesday. If you have questions about anything training, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them in an upcoming live. Don't get frustrated with this drill. It can be frustrating. Your pet will get frustrated. You might get frustrated too, but it's important to stick to it so that your pet can make progress. It is going to be time consuming. If you've never done this drill before, I recommend doing it on a day off, an afternoon off, when you've got a few hours that you can dedicate to it, because it may just take that long. Ideally, you can practice it 5 days a week, but most of us don't have that much free time in our schedule. So even 2 or 3 days, even once a week is going to be more beneficial than never doing the calm down at all. So when you're ready to practice the calm down, rewatch this video. Make sure you have your flat collar martingale for your dog, a harness your cat can't escape for your cat, a leash, and something for you to do so that you can wait it out. Be patient. Wait for your pet to reach that state of calm. The more that you do it, the easier it'll be for them to relax, no matter what distractions are going on around them. You and your pet will both be happier. Your pet's going to live a longer, healthier life, and all the rest of your training is going to be a ton easier. If you have tried the calm down, I'd love to hear how it goes. Stop in the comments and tell me all about it, or tell me about it next week when we're live again at 5 p.m. Central to talk about another relaxation drill. One more thing before we go, you can get a free guide to relaxation, including the calm down, at the link on your screen, kingscreatures.com/kcat-club. It's also linked in the description of this video. Head there to grab the ultimate guide. It includes tutorials on how to help your pet learn to be calm, and the calm down is one of those. So don't forget to stop in the comments. Let me know how your calm down practice goes. Ask me any of your training questions. And join us again next week, Tuesday at 5 p.m. Central, so we can talk even more about teaching your pet to be calm. Have a great week, everybody.